Hey friends, welcome to Gardening with Creekside. Today is the day we've all been anticipating. I am going to plant our deck boxes filled with gorgeous annuals that are going to give us season-long color and interest, attract the hummingbirds, the pollinators, you name it. It's going to be a color explosion full of flowers. I am standing on my back porch where the deck boxes are, so maybe you're familiar with this space and maybe you are not. A couple years ago when we installed our patio, we took down our deck, which extended all the way out. There was we had an above ground pool the kids played in, and this deck portion was part of that. We left that because it is this perfect little nook right here. We have our grill there and everything. Brenna loves to chase the bees. Sorry about that. So this portion of the deck stayed, and we got the idea from our friends Sean and Randy. They have this around their deck, and I just thought like it was absolute genius. Like, what a wonderful way to have flowers completely surrounding you and use the space that you have instead of having like multiple containers. Just make one big huge box. My dad is a woodworker. He fashioned it for us. So what you see on the outside, the dark brown, is Trex. So it is that weather resistant, rock proof, right? It's not, quote, wood, and it has held up really well, and very happy with it. He then created freestanding boxes. So these are just laying on top of the Trex, and they are pressure treated wood. It has, drain holes in the bottom. Like, he's a professional woodworker. He knows what he's doing. I'll just say that. I don't. I just give him the ideas, and I'm like, hey Daddy, this is what I want, and he builds it. And then he put the facade on is the Trex. Now the top portion is wood because couldn't do the Trex out of that. Jackson helped me yesterday. We did not film that because that was one of those just like nit gritty, like you got to get it done. It's not fun at all. We completely emptied all of the soil out of these deck boxes. It was about, I think, 1.5 yards because we did like 3 loads from the tractor bucket. That's a half yard, so about 1.5 yards of old potting soil. And the reason that we do that is because this soil had been in these deck boxes all last summer and then the fall, winter. So one whole calendar year. When we were removing that soil, I could pull it out in giant clods because the roots of last year's annuals were still in there and completely holding the soil together. So we emptied everything out, came back with fresh, beautiful soil. Everything is ready to go. Like, I can directly go ahead and plant in here. So what we did is what I normally do is on the very bottom layer, we have some land and sea. Came back with some high quality potting soil. Then I went ahead and top dressed with land and sea again. So today I'm not gonna have to top dress at all. And then you can see in here, we mixed in, there is the time release fertilizer, the proven winners, the slow release. Biotone is in here, so everything is amended. This is the irrigation line, right? So it's all on drip, and literally all we have to do is plant and then water these babies into their new home. So, enough ado about that. Let's talk about the plants that are going to go in here because I'm so excited. This is one of my favorite projects every year because they just turn out so great. And I have learned go big or go home, especially with these boxes, because they make such a big impact. Giving all of that great fresh soil, there's plenty of room for their roots to grow, and having it on drip irrigation has turned out to be key for this flower bed. So we've got some ones that you are familiar with and some brand new ones that we're going to try out this year. Last year I used saffron finch in here. Super Tunia saffron finch from Proven Winners. Y'all, I love this plant. It is such a beautiful, true yellow petunia. It really does well for me. I mean, it just is phenomenal. I love it so much that if you can see that, remember, we used it also in the beds around the patio. So that will all tie in together. So we have the Super Tunia saffron finch. It is what we call a standard Super Tunia. It's not a Vista nor a mini Vista. So it has that average vigor of like a 2 to 3 foot spread. I might actually double them up because I'm going to pair it with the Super Bina pink cashmere. Again, last year we did Superbena in here, and this is, y'all, such a vigorous plant. But look at those gorgeous flowers. I mean, gorgeous, soft, sweet pink. Almost has on the like an ombre effect, so you have a darker center. The newer flowers are darker, and then as they mature and age out, they turn more of a white. So I've got a tray of those. Now you'll also notice that I have a tray of the Dichondra Silver Falls. Now Silver Falls is a fantastic trailer. It's also a very happy plant that likes to get close with its neighbors. And truly, it does not get any taller than this, but it trails really, really well. I am only going to use the Silver Falls on this side of the deck because remember, this side you have a lot of real estate down there. I mean, we've got like 6 feet plus before you hit the ground. The reason that I'm not going to use it on this side is because I have, of course, my 2 David Austin roses and then my blue chiffon right here. So there's no point in having a trailer because you're not going to see it and it's just going to get caught up in the roses and the Rose of Sharon. So we're just going to use the Silver Falls on that side. Also, last year we did the Selenia yellow begonias. Excuse me, it's a mouthful. It is a double begonia, gorgeous, nice, soft yellow that can take the full sun. It did really well in these containers. I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed it so much that, again, they are in the hanging baskets right here. So I'm trying to tie elements all together. So in the hanging baskets, you've got the Selenia yellow, and then we put in the Dichondra Silver Falls. So I have 2 of those baskets, and everything is going to tie in together so that the beds as a whole, the gardens as a whole, will be nice and cohesive. So these guys we know and love. We've had lots of experience with those, and they are great. Now I have 4 plants that are going to be new to me. We are testing these out to see how they are doing. These will be available next year. We have a dahlia that is a really, really pretty, like I don't know if you call that coral, if you want to call it pink, has that yellow center to it, and I think it will be really nice because especially this one side of the bed with the David Austins, I don't have any room for a lot for trailing on that side. We're going to do several uprights, some thrillers. So we've got this gorgeous pink dahlia that we're going to use. Then right here we have some angelona. So this is going to be a white one. You can see it's just starting to bud. I don't have any flowers on it. I have 2 other types of angelona out in the gardens here. These are going to be pinks. This one is going to be a pure white. Very nice, straight, upright, will be a nice pop of white and different, flower size and all that good stuff in here. We have a new Kufia. So this Kufia is going to be grown and treated just like you would Vermilion Air, except it looks nothing like Vermilion Air, now does it? Isn't that just so pretty? A beautiful plum color, really purple in the center with a nice creamy white, almost a little hint of a pink on the outside, very upright. Cannot wait to see how the pollinators and the hummingbirds react to this plant. And then to go with that, this sweet petunia. Now this is going to be a smaller petunia. It is not going to have the vigor even of saffron finch. So much more, you can tell from its growth habit, much more compact, but a really beautiful plum color to tie in with that Kufia. And it also ties in as far as color wise with the 2 urns of the Nemesia that I have. That's the Aromanth mulberry Nemesia. So all those kind of colors will tie in together. Of course, because we're going to be having multiple events here in the backyard, like just right there. We have the wedding reception back there. Then a month later, we have the signature experience where we're going to have our guests come and see all this. So I want the whole garden as a whole to tie in together. So that's why we repeat some of those flowers and the colors and the color schemes in different areas of the garden. So it has a cohesive look to it. So what I'm going to do is kind of figure out my design because I don't really have a strong idea of my design. So I'm going to just set the camera up and get everybody placed. Then I'll meet you back here. We'll talk about the design and then we'll get them planted. The plants are placed and I am ready to get going. So let me show you the design and kind of explain my thoughts on how I laid this out. Because this side, right, this is a shorter side, and I don't need trailers really on this side because of the shrubs that we already have there. Therefore, I put all of my thrillers really kind of on the back row. And I went ahead and doubled them up. I have the plants, let's just go ahead and bulk them up and make them look nice and big. The wedding is in 3 weeks, so I want to get these as nice and full as possible. Basically what I did is, yes, there's a pattern, but there's not a specific pattern. We did dahlias, Kufia dahlia, then Angelona. And notice, yes, there is just one dahlia here by itself. Then on the other side, there's one dahlia by itself, then the Kufia, and then Angelona again. So we just kind of went through and just got them in there. I don't want it to be perfectly matchy-matchy as far as the whole design, but I want it to be cohesive, right? I think sometimes, at least I do personally, like I overthink it, and you can really overanalyze this stuff. Just as long as you have those same plants repeated throughout, don't get too hung up on, well, this one is beside this one on this case, but down here, it's beside somebody different. Y'all, just put them in the ground. I promise it will be beautiful. So that was the theme as far as the thrillers. Now you'll notice on the longer side, because I do want trailing plants on both sides, I went ahead and then moved those thrillers to the center. And yes, this is heavily planted. That is why I went ahead and replaced my soil. There's going to be tons of beautiful, delicious, healthy soil available for these plants and their roots, and they will handle it like champions. I did go ahead and double up everything almost except for pink cashmere. I don't want to say she's a thug, but she can be quite aggressive, shall we say. So we just kind of did her by herself, and the pink cashmere is on all sides, but then when we come around here, it's definitely on the front, so it will trail over. I am sure there will be some that go back there. But I did try to put the little plum petunia in front of the Kufia. That way they really kind of go together. And then definitely with the begonias, got those nice and thick in here. In this little spot, I have a little interesting area because Desdemona is not getting as tall as Emily Bronte over here. So that way we'll have a nice pocket of those begonias showing through on the other side. With the Silver Falls, went ahead and I tripled those up. So we're gonna have a nice thick layer spilling over. And then I tried, when I was looking over, I tried to kind of offset them from the Scentlandia. So they're not directly behind the Scentlandia or over the Scentlandia, they're off to the side a little bit. So we've got 3 there, we've got 3 here. You can see that the 2 Scentlandia, so this one will be kind of in the middle. And then as we go down, there is another one here. Not quite between those 2 Scentlandias, but you know, close enough, it's fine. So what we're gonna do now is, quote, the easy part. I've got my hori-hori, so this is really loose soil. So all I have to do is grab that hori-hori or your hand trowel, whatever, or just even I don't even have to use that. I can just use my hand and just pull the soil back, plop them in. I will go ahead on my verbenas and probably break them up. Y'all, if you've never grown pink cashmere, she is a very aggressive verbena. And so her root system is, there you go. Can you see that? I mean, like, look at that. So I am sure when I open up this pot, it is going to be pot bound. So I will go ahead and break it up. The other ones I think should be fine. Maybe saffron finch would be a little bit that way. But other than that, you just plop them in. Then I am going to go ahead and trim back especially some of my saffron finches, because some of them were getting a little leggy. That is simply due to them being in the greenhouse and they were kind of on top of each other, and so not being able to get light all the way down in there. So what I'll do, this is an example, they're getting all close. So I might just come in here and do a gentle cleanup and just trim it back a little bit. So that way it makes it nice and tight and compact. But yeah, other than that, we're just going to get them in. So I'll see you back here in just a second when they're all in, and we'll take a final look at it. My friends, today's project is complete. They are planted, they are watered, all my mess is cleaned up. It has been a great morning here on the deck. I'm probably covered in dirt. I know I'm covered in sweat. I am absolutely dripping. It is spring in North Carolina. It's probably not that totally warm, but the humidity, oh dear heavens, I'm about to die. So anyway, I don't care. It looks great. Let me show you kind of the final project, all complete. Everybody's in, like I said, and watered. Really, and I told you I was going to use my hori-hori. Nope, did not even use the hori-hori. Just used my hand and went in there and pulled up some of the soil and just shoved them in there. Now, you're going to see like this verbena right here. I'm just keeping it real, you know. There is no such thing as perfect. Perfect is only found in the dictionary. It is not found anywhere else. This verbena was, because it was so root bound. Now you've got this gorgeous flower, right? It's a little dry, but y'all, she got a good drink of water. When I come over here tomorrow morning, she is going to be perky and she is going to be happy and she is going to be beautiful. The maintenance on this is going to be really easy because I have the irrigation in here. If I didn't have the irrigation, it would be a little bit more higher maintenance. We have this set on a timer. It automatically comes on, easy peasy. Because there is fresh soil, there is biotone, there is a time release fertilizer, I'm not going to have to water soluble fertilize this very much. However, the wedding is in 3 weeks. So beginning Monday, I am starting a weekly regimen of all annuals will get the water soluble fertilizer. So they will go ahead and get that first dose along with everybody else. I want them to be nice and green and lush. Now, this is not going to be super full for the wedding. It's okay. People will be able to see it and it looks nice. Also, you were with me, you know, last year when I had this deck box done. We had the petunias and the verbenas and everything got so vigorous that, remember, I think it was like, what was it, end of June-ish, I believe it was, and I took my hedge trimmers, the electric hedge trimmers, and I whacked everybody back. I was not precise, I just trimmed them back, and they came back with a vengeance, and I swanny, they were prettier the second time than they were the first time. So it is absolutely possible that I may have to come in here and give everybody a haircut. Also, my most divish of the plants here are going to be my dahlias. Now, dahlias are gorgeous. I love them. I have a whole garden full of dahlias. However, they do require a little bit of maintenance. These are going to be the one plant in here that likes to be deadheaded. You can see right here where there was an old flower. In fact, I trimmed it right before the video. It was right here and it was losing its petals. As your dahlia flowers turn old, you need to come in there and cut them. By cutting them, you're going to encourage more flowers. If you don't deadhead your dahlias, it could easily turn out that you're not going to get your flowers. They are also my most delicate. They are a little tender right now. They will thicken up, but just know that if you have dahlias, whether it's a dahlia garden or you're using dahlias like this, like I am, as an annual, you're going to want to come in there and deadhead them. And that's going to be the beautiful thing about this box, is that it's a very high visibility for me because I see it all the time, and it will be really easy for me to come in here and trim them. You may also notice that I have some sweet little art in here. This is from our friends over there at the Rusty Sparrow off of Etsy. I have multiple pieces of their artwork in the garden, and I love these little butterfly stakes. And I have the little honeybee, bumblebee, whatever you want, the little bee stakes. There's 2 here, and then I have some more in the succulent planter as well. So adding in those little bits of whimsy, right now you can see them, right? So I have 3 groups of 2, and they're super easy, y'all. I mean, like, the butterflies are rusted, but they're on this like stainless steel stake, and you just literally, they can go in containers, they can go in the landscape, they can go in a pot, like, it does not matter. And they're all kind of different shapes and sizes and all of that fun stuff. So I will make sure to link the Rusty Sparrow. They are a mother-daughter team out of Bulgaria, and they do such fun. Obviously, the vast majority of their stuff is rusted, and so I love that. In fact, look at here. Can you see this? down in the garden, these are the tall stakes. So there's 3 of them right here. Those are the butterflies, and those are the tall stakes. So if you are looking for some fun, whimsical, garden art, head over to the Westy Sparrow. Tell the ladies that Jenny said hello. And yeah, so I feel very good about this. It feels great. Another project checked off the list. More plants coming out of the greenhouse. We're on a rush to get those babies out of the greenhouse and in the ground because they desperately need to get in the ground. 'Tis the time here in North Carolina. All right, my friends, as always, we hope you have found this fun, informative, inspirational. Y'all have an amazing day. We'll see you in the next video. Bye, guys. One last thing I forgot to tell you. All right, so yesterday when Jackson and I were getting out all the soil, we have this gorgeous hosta here. This was left over from our friends at Walters, sending it to me last fall, and they sent us like gorgeous full-size plants. This is Diamond Lake. So if you're interested in a hosta, Diamond Lake is going to be a beautiful one. It is that blue-green family, right? It has that heavy corrugated texture to it, more of an upright. And y'all, I know it's huge and it fits in this planter quite nicely. I got this planter from Kinsman 2 years ago, and I went ahead and underplanted it on the corners with some of the double up white begonias. There's actually 2 of them in there, and now whether or not you're going to be able to see them, I don't know. But you know what? I was like, we're just going to go for it, because if you're standing on the patio, you're looking at it about this eye level. So if you can just see them peeking out from under there, then, I figured, hey, that'll be fun. So yeah, I meant to tell you that, and then I signed off before I did. So that is the planter. Very easy. A hosta and some begonias. Probably could have just done the hosta, but I was like, why not? I'm going to use those begonias where my volvulus is that the rabbit is eating. Still eating it. They grow, they eat. Wax begonias tend to be more rabbit resistant. So there you go. They're going to go over there. All right. Now I'm done. Bye, guys.